Welcome back to our channel. In this session, I'll be taking you through visit registration within the system. So visit registration is where we register patient encounters every time they visit a hospital. Look at it as a hospital OPD form that is always filled in every time the patient comes. So I'll continue from where we stopped last time. Last time we looked at patient registration, and so far these are some of our patients that have been registered so far. So I'll go ahead to the registrations module and we go straight into visit registration. So you click on the tab of registrations and then select visits. So as of today, you can see that I do not have any visits that have been registered so far. But if you backdate, you might find that I have some data in previous dates. So far, I think I have at least a test patient. So as we saw earlier, for visit registration, it's still almost the same format. You go to the plus icon, you click on the plus icon, and you'll be presented with this kind of form. So right here is where you will type in the name of your patient. So my patient is Letitia, so I'll type in their name, press enter button, and I'll get their details right there. So once you click on the name of the patient, you will see that their information is automatically populated. And at this point, I'll go ahead and select the hospital that this patient is going to go to. Let's say my patient is going to Mulago National Referral Hospital. Is the patient admitted? No, my patient is not admitted. Which ward am I admitting this patient? Okay, which ward are they going to go? Since they are not admitted, I don't need to fill in the ward. The age and gender, together with the settlement and settlement type, are automatically filled, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and add any attachments, if any. For example, if I have a medical report from the previous treatment that this patient had, I can go ahead and register or attach that medical report or medical request accordingly. So I click on the upload button, I go into my folders, select the specific file that is correlating with my patient, and then I click on add attachment. So I add attachment and close. I go back and select. For example, when a patient visits a hospital, normally they have their complaints. So I'll go ahead and select what complaints does my patient have. Do they need drugs? Do they need investigation? Is it a medical consultation? So for example, let's say this patient needs a medical consultation, and I click on the add button. Or I can enter in some details. For example, this patient has headache for the past 3 days. Maybe those are the details. I click on add complaint. So I'll go ahead and select the access points. Where are they accessing the services from? Let's say they are accessing their services from, okay, I'll select the access point that is let's say they are accessing their services from Kansanga access point. We can always register the different access points as required. And at this point, if there has been any previous diagnosis for this patient, I can always enter it in here. For example, let's say my patient has, let's say, hypertension. I'll type in hypertension, I press enter. So the system will load from the ICD-10 lists that was already integrated. So we'll load from the ICD-11 list, and then select also what category does this fall in. So I'll select what applies and then click on add diagnosis. So after adding diagnosis, I'll go to the next, unless if this patient has more than one diagnosis, so they can add another. Otherwise, I can go ahead and select the different recipients. For example, if I click on the add button right here, and then I select the person or the medical personnel that I'm putting in charge of this patient. For example, I can say the patient or the medical personnel I'm putting in charge is the AHA admin. I click on add recipient, or I can also give them the task. Maybe this is a critical patient with a history of hypertension. So you type in like that, add recipient, so that recipient will be able to get an email and they will get a summary of what this patient requires. So you ensure that all the different fields that have a star are automatically filled in, and then you click on the save button here at the bottom. So once you save, you get a message like this to confirm to you that you've successfully created a visit within the system. And when I close, you'll see that this is the visit I've just created today. You can as well maximize this visit and see the different details. If there is need for editing, you can click on this edit button and update. Otherwise, if you need to print, you can also click on a print button and print out. For now, if you also need to export these lists of the different visits for the selected period of time, you can also click on the export and you'll be able to get this list in Excel. Otherwise, that is it regarding the registration of patients within the system. Thank you very much.